Hey guys, welcome back to an update video regarding the Unity situation. Unity has seen a lot of hate recently with everything that has been happening around it, from small indie developers, AAA developers, and a variety of publishers and gamers. To sum it up, Unity was first getting a ton of backlash from many changes that they were going to implement not that long ago, but thankfully is now switched. Previously, depending on the Unity plan you had, you would have to pay some insane fees to Unity, which will severely hurt the financial status of many publishers and developers. I will put some pictures on the screens for you guys to see, so feel free to pause the video and go back in case you guys need more time to go over the old information here. Basically, to keep it short, Unity was basically charging fees depending on how much money you have made and how many installs you've hit. So if you hit a certain amount of installs or cash generated, depending on which Unity plan you made, you would basically have to pay a runtime fee, where you would pay Unity a fee every time someone installs the game. Another thing that enraged people was the potential of installation bombing, where people mass install and uninstall a game was something possible in case there was a specific group of people that despise the game, or hackers decide to ransom a game developer to get payment running scripts to install and uninstall the game. The last important thing to know of the old changes was that Unity was the only one who knew how many installs the game would receive, and there was no way for developers or publishers to track how many installs or what potential fees would appear, which would make people installing by pirating, game sharing, installing on new devices, and reinstallations count, which enraged developers and other people a lot further. Now, thankfully, Unity has retracted a lot of the statements, which now shows a much better and much more manageable plan for developers. I will put another screenshot of this for you all to see. This information comes from the official Unity website that I'll have linked in the description below. Now, for Unity Personal and Plus plans, the runtime fee will no longer apply, which is great for many developers. The runtime fee only applies for people under the Unity Pro and Enterprise plans. Also, games that are created with the runtime fees of Unity, which are the Unity versions created from 2024 and onwards, fees will only be applicable with games that hit the thresholds of both $1 million within the 12 months and 1 million installs. Once that threshold is reached, people will have the choice of either paying 2.5% of the game's gross monthly revenue, or the runtime fee based on how many installs your game received, and you will always choose the lesser amount. All of the data now is also self-reported, which makes it better, and not have to rely on data from Unity, which could potentially be inaccurate. Also, any currently supported Unity versions before 2024 will not be affected by these changes. These new fees will be used on versions of Unity from the year 2024 and onwards. Another great change is that Unity Personal now will be increasing the amount of funding a game can have under the plan from $100,000 to $200,000, which is a great plus for indie developers. For those indie developers as well, they've also removed the annoying Made with Unity splash screen requirement that appears at the beginning of most games usually from the Unity Personal version, which is great since a lot of people were always asking for that to be removed. Another great change is that games developed under a specific version of Unity will now have the terms and conditions unchanged for that specific version. They probably kept this because they probably would have been sued. Now, although these changes for Unity have come and appeared and many people seem to really like them, including myself, there are some fears that people still have regarding what can happen potentially in the future for Unity. Now, with these changes, people still have some fears where they will intentionally mess up older versions of Unity with updates to push people into the newer versions, which is possible, but I'm just happy to have these new changes. Another risk is the possibility of them changing fees back to what they were or raising them slowly, which is another fear which people have, which is possible. I'm willing to bite the bullet and take these changes, and a good idea here that I've heard from other people is a promise where Unity will not change the prices for at least a few years. Overall, it's great that people have pushed back against these greedy practices and have made a statement all around to get these changes, as many people would have been impacted. Although a lot of people will still leave Unity due to what has happened, developers, publishers, and gamers have been successful with getting the changes that we wanted. What I will do from this point is to continue to use Unity even though there will be many risks, but also casually learn other engines in my free time in case something like this ever happens again, which I hope not. Thanks to everyone who's contributed in any way to making this happen, and I'll see you guys again soon.